The introduction or the background of the study is a crucial part of your research paper. Let us go through how to write a compelling and well-structured background. The introduction section is not just a formality. It tells your reader why your research matters, what gap it is addressing, and how it connects to the bigger picture of nursing and healthcare. So let us begin by understanding the purpose behind writing this section. What is the purpose of the introduction? The introduction is also called the background. This portion lays the groundwork for your entire research paper. Think of it as building the stage before the performance. If your readers do not understand the relevance or setting of your research, they won't appreciate your findings. So what does this section aim to answer? In this portion, you must convince your reader that this issue or problem is worth exploring. What makes it urgent, relevant, or impactful in nursing? And what is the context of the problem? We need to place our research within a context, whether global, national, or institutional. That is because your readers need to see that the problem is not an isolated one, but a part of a bigger system. Ultimately, the introduction or the background prepare your reader to understand the significance, the scope, and the direction of your research. This creates a roadmap so they can follow your study more meaningfully. Now that we know the importance of the background or the introduction, let us now discuss how we structure this portion. We use what we call a funnel approach. We start with the broad and we narrow down. We begin with the global or international issues. This shows that your topic is relevant on a large scale. For example, if your topic is infection control, you might mention WHO statistics or international trends in hospital safety. Next, zoom into national concerns. What does the situation look like in the Philippines? You can cite DOH statistics, national nursing practices, or CHED mandates. Finally, narrow down to the institutional or local level. What is happening in your school, in the clinical settings, or in the community? Look for ways or issues that aligns with your topic. This structure not only gives your paper a logical flow, but also demonstrates that your research is grounded on layered realities, from global to local. Now, let us break that structure down using a more practical example. For instance, on global concern, we have the WHO or the CDC. They might have reports that hospital-acquired infections are a major issue worldwide. This shows that your topic is globally significant. Next, check on the national context. You can refer to the Department of Health in the Philippines and what is it doing to address infection control. Maybe through new guidelines or trainings or programs and services. But are these effective? Is there data showing compliance? Finally, you relate to your own setting, like in your school. If you are a student nurse, check if you are fully adhering to infection control protocols during clinical duties. If not, this could become the research gap you aim to address. Let us move to an important component, showing what is known and what remains unknown. First, summarize existing knowledge. What do we already know from published literature, previous studies, or official reports? Mention recent findings, policies, or statistics to show your grasp of the topic. Next, identify the gaps. What hasn't been explored? Is there a particular group, like for example, student nurses, or a specific setting like an RHU or a community hospital, where this data is scarce? These gaps in the literature justify your study. It shows that your research is filling a void, not duplicating what has already been done. It also provides a logical transition to your study's purpose or rationale. A strong background must be supported with credible evidence. Use recent literature, ideally from the last 5 years. This is to ensure your information is current. Avoid citing outdated statistics unless they are critical to the historical context. You can also include national data from the DOH, the CHED, PNA, or even Philippine Statistics Authority. This helps establish your study's relevance to national health priorities. Do not forget institutional data from school audits, affiliates feedback, supervisor feedback, or anecdotal observations. or even personal experiences. This can show gaps or trends specific to your research setting. Importantly, make sure to use credible sources and cite them properly. This not only strengthens your argument, but also builds academic integrity of your study. Let us apply everything we have discussed in a sample introduction for our example study title. We begin with the global context. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 10 hospitalized patients worldwide suffers from a healthcare acquired infection. That's a major threat to patient safety and speaks to the global relevance of your topic. This introduction sets a serious tone and immediately captures the reader's attention. Now, let us localize the issue. In the Philippines, the DOH has released updated infection control guidelines. However, compliance varies greatly in actual clinical practice, especially among trainees. This shows a national implementation gap. At the institutional level, at College A, there have been anecdotal reports suggesting inconsistent compliance among Level 3 student nurses. This was based on observed behavior and feedback from affiliates, partners, and clinical instructors. Together, this background creates a compelling rationale for your study. Let us now see how we bridge the gap and define the purpose. Despite the presence of guidelines and observations of non-compliance, there is no formal study evaluating the link between training and actual infection control practices among student nurses. That is the gap. Therefore, the purpose of the study is to assess the level of knowledge and the compliance to infection control measures and to recommend ways to enhance either infection control training or to enhance compliance. Your research now has a clear direction. You are not just observing a problem, you are working toward a solution. Before we end, let us wrap up what we have briefly discussed. First, the introduction or the background of the study establishes the context. It helps readers understand where the problem exists, from global, national, down to the local and the institutional level. That is so they can see the relevance of your research. Second, a well-written background clearly shows what is already known and what is still unknown. By identifying gaps in the literature and using reliable data, you create a solid rationale for why your study needs to be conducted. And finally, structure and clarity matter. A logically organized background with proper formatting not only enhances readability but also strengthens your research by aligning it with your statement of the problem and objectives. These 3 points are essential as you start drafting your own background of the study. Keep them in mind to ensure your introduction is informative, focused, and impactful.